Om Namo Loe Sarvatrikavarti Aryantanam. Om Namo Loe Sarvatrikavarti Siddhanam. Om Namo Loe Sarvatrikavarti Ayaryanam. Om Namo Loe Sarvatrikavarti Uvajjayanam. Om Namo Loe Sarvatrikavarti Savanam. Omkaram Bindu Sanyaktam Nityam Dayanti Yoginam Kamadam Mokshadam Chaiva Omkaraya Namo Namah. Namah Samaysaraya Swanubhutya Chakasate Chitsabhavaya Bhavaya Sarva Bhavantarachide Agnana Timirandanam Gnana Anjana Salakaya Chaksurun Militam Yena Tasmai Sri Guruve Namah Tirthankaro Jagatana Jayvantavarto Omkaranada Chinano Jayvantavarto Jinana samo sarana sau jayvantavarto he tirthachara jagama jayvantavarto Namo e tirthanayakane namo omkaranadane omkara sangaryotene namo te Sri Kunda Kundane Aho upakara jinavarano kundano dhvani divano jina kunda dhvani apya aho te guru kanuno aho bhagavati matano Dhruva achalane anupama gati pamela sarve siddhane vande kaho sutta kevali bhasita asamaya pravrata are Om एक शुद्ध सदा अरूपी ज्ञान दर्शनमय खरे कहीं अन्य ते मारू जरी परमाणु मात्र थी अरे जम नेत्र ते मज ज्ञान नथि कारक नथि वेदक अरे जाने जकर मोदय निरजरा बंदते मज मोक्षने ओम नमः सिद्धेभ्यो Om Namah Siddhebhyo Om Sri Sudatmane Namaha Jai Jinendra. Um, Today is October 3rd, 2018, Wednesday, and we are continuing our discussion on Samaysar. We are doing a couple of new people are there, so we are just doing this description on Samaysar for last 4 to almost 5 years. And what we had started with a stanza from the very beginning, and gradually we are progressing. We are on a 13th stanza, and we finished 13th stanza, and so now we are having the Kalash. As we have said before, that Kunkunacharya Dev wrote down Samaysar 2000 years back in a Prakrit language. And there are 415 stanzas are there that was originally written on a palm leaves with the needle of the palm, and it was collected by some of the mumukshus, and then it was preserved, and now it's in a book form in front of us. So up to 13 stanza when we finish, now the Amrit Chandra Acharya Dev, he was there about 1000 years AD. So 10th century AD he was there, and he analyzed this Samaysar scripture, and he went in an in-depth analysis, and he gave a commentary in Sanskrit language. And as we said last week, that his Sanskrit is so perfect and so beautiful that even non-Jains, they just praised this Sanskrit commentary written by Amritchandra Acharya Dev. And while he's writing commentary, time to time he thought that there is need for some more information to be inserted. So he wrote down something called Kalash. Kalash is like pinnacle. Just like pinnacle means on top of the temple, the temple looks beautiful. The temple's beauty is increased by having pinnacle on the top. Similarly, Amrit Chandra Acharya wrote down this Kalash also, and he inserted time to time different stanzas. And so in the after 13th stanza, he inserted three Kalash. So we are talking Kalash number 8 right now. He just spoke a little bit about Kalash 8, and he was about to close that when he said, wait a second, no, I need to add something more. So again, he reopened that whole thing and he wrote down more commentary on it. So that commentary we are talking about, that commentary, what he tries to say that, the scriptures are there, but we also have to learn how to analyze the scripture, how to know the scripture, how to digest the scripture. So for that thing, certain baseline homework, we all have to do it. And so that's a homework that he has talked to us in this eighth Kalash. And he says that to understand the reality, one has to know the comprehensive knowledge and partial point of view and knowledge about the object also. So there are words coming as a comprehensive knowledge is a pramangnan. Then a partial point of view is called nai, N-A-Y-A, nai, and object knowledge regarding the object, that is called nikshep. And so he describes those kind of things. And then Gurudev Kanji Swami, he further expanded those things for our capacity to digest all those things. So those are the things we are talking about it, and we have talked kind of haphazardly. We have not put everything in correct order, and so right now we will pass through that in correct order, and hopefully we will finish that Kalash today. So I'll bring the slides. Share. Okay. Chiramita nau tattvachanna muni yamanam kanakamiva nimagnam varnamala kalape atha satata viviktam drashyatamek rupam pratipadamit matyama jyoti rudyotamanam. So this is that the Sanskrit Kalash that he has written. Then there's a meaning in Gujarati is there. There is also Bhavarth, and there is a Slokarth and everything, which we have gone through that very in detail. Now we are going to start from here in Bhavarth and conclusion part. So first he gives conclusion and then he starts moving further. So he says, this soul was perceived in the modal state with impurities. I right now at present perceiving me as a soul, but I am with the impurity. Modal state means the changes occurring within me. Every moment, time to time, I was driving, I came home, I started computer, now we are talking right now and things. So those are the changes. So those changes are the modal state, and at that time, I'm full of impurities. So I know the soul with the impurities right now, but with the help of pure point of view, the modal impurities are separated out. Now, he's talking of Ved Gnan. He's talking about discriminative science. He's talking about discrimination between alien objects and myself as an eternal soul substance. To realize the soul, the duty of a householder like us is the something in which we have to understand the reality, we understand the nature of the soul and everything, and then we start with discrimination with the alien objects of the universe. That means I have an attachment with my house, with my business, with my family, with my friends, with my children, with my car, etc., etc., etc. So those are the one, that's a gross form of association. In the sense, God forbid, let's say that there is a house and house goes on fire. Now, the owner will come out and not to worry about it because he has an insurance also. And even if he has no insurance, he's going to come out because he doesn't want to stay there and get burned to death. So that's what happens. That, for example, I have a car, most expensive car, I may have it, but then there is an accident occurs. What do I do? Well, there was a car and there's an accident. At least nothing happened to me or minor scratch occurred to me. And so I will just take the solace that way. So I can separate myself from those alien objects of the universe. I can make that separation. Second separation comes is a physical body. Me as a soul and physical body are intermingled and they have relationships since time infinite. Of course, body keeps on changing, but still, this is body, this is my body, my body, my body. I'm in the animal life, I'm in the plant life, I'm in the hell, I'm in heaven, wherever I am, this is my body. That's what I have association with the physical body. So now I have to get the separation from the physical body. Deha chata jeni dasa varte dehatit means those enlightened souls, they still have a body, but they act as if body is not there. Aryan Bhagwan has a physical body, but he does not depend on the body because he has totally separated himself from the physical body and only associates with the physical body for Omniscient Lord is as long as he is living, he has association with the body. When the separation occurs, the pure soul goes up into the Siddhasila and body leaves behind. So body and soul separation also we have to learn, and that we will be able to learn better when we are passing through unforeseen situation. When I'm up against the wall, I had the disease in the body and everything. Now I'm being told that you may have the terminal cancer, nothing more to live. That time, my philosophy should come in picture and say, okay, this is separation time has come. So now, why don't I try to go within my soul and separate my physical body from me? So that's a second types of separation that we have to think about. We have to learn about it, and that separation is a main reason. If I can create the attitude in which physical body is separate than me, that kind of attitude when I create by knowledge, not only by knowledge, but by repeatedly knowing that knowledge, contemplating on that knowledge that I am the soul, body is separate. There is a Balpothi, means a very, very first chapter for a small kid to learn philosophy. So that Balpothi, that one, the very first chapter, one page of 3 sentences, but it says, I am the soul, I am the conscious element, body is matter, body has no consciousness. I am separate from body. That kind of information is being taught to that kid from the very first time that he understands anything. It means nothing to him, but at least it starts with that kind of attitude. And now you have to develop that attitude in practicality that I am not the body. Okay, I had diabetes. So body has a diabetes. I don't have it. So rather than worrying about it, you work with that thing. So that's a separation from the body and soul. And then comes the material karma separation. And then comes getting separated from my own rag and dvesh, my own inclination of attachment and aversion. I have to create the attachment, separation of those attachment. Even though rag and dvesh occurs within me, even though inclination of attachment and aversion occurs within me, but I have to say that's not my true state. I may have an abscess on my hand, of course, that abscess occurred to me. Me as a physical person, I have it, you don't have it, but I don't keep that abscess with me. I need to remove that as soon as possible. Same thing, inclination of attachment and inclination of aversion, rag and dvesh, are the impurities within me, and I should try to remove them. So what I said, with the help of pure point of view, means knowledge, and myself is eternal soul substance, and my modal impurities are to be separated out. And that kind of attitude I have to learn, I have to create. And so in this Kalash, Acharya Dev says, hey, I'm going to show you the pathway. I'm going to show you how can you do all those things. So pure eternal true nature of the soul substance is now perceived. Once I remove my impurities, then I can perceive my eternal soul substance. This eternal soul substance is like that of gold in the gold mine, in that rock. That rock has a gold particles within. It's mixed with the rock. Now I have to have separated out by putting that rock through the process of heating, process for fire. When that gold is passing through process of fire, then gold comes at one side and rest of the impurities go on the other side. Same way here, with the pure eternal soul is within me. Only thing, it is mixed with these impurities. I have to separate them out. So Sri Guru advises that please experience this pure self and continue the same with engrossment in its nature. So please experience the self, and once I experience, then I get engrossed with it, because that's a bliss. That's a super sensuous bliss which I never had it. Now I got it, and I'm so much excited, so much happy about that bliss, that I would like to stay within, to have this kind of bliss stay with me forever. And that means once you get the bliss, that means at the same time, modal point of view means all impurities, they disappear. Having said that, now he just Amritchandracharya says, you know, I talked all this thing, but what's a means? What means I can suggest to the listener, suggest to the student, that what are the means they can use to obtain this kind of situation? So, what he said, one has to know the eternal true nature, okay? Excuse me. What are the means by which one can achieve this fact? I need to perceive my eternal true nature. But what are the means? There has to be some means. And so, comprehensive knowledge, partial point of view, and knowledge about the object. Once again, comprehensive knowledge, partial point of view, and knowledge about the object means praman, nai, and nikshep. Praman, nai, nikshep. These three words are going to come quite often. That's why I just shorten it out as a PNN. Praman, nai, nikshep means comprehensive knowledge, partial point of view, and knowledge about the object. Okay, so what does that mean? Compared to eternal self, now Acharya Bhagavan says, okay, I'm going to show some pathway. But these are the pathway are in the reflective thought process. These pathways are in your reflective thought process. And experiencing of the soul substance occurs beyond that thing. So these are the means. Now, for example, I want to go to the second floor. To go to the second story, I need to go from the first story to the second story, means I have to have the stairs. The stairs are required, but stairs are not the end point. Stairs are the means to achieve the end point. Same way, these are the means to achieve the eternal true nature of the self. So, compared to the eternal true nature of the self, which is in the primary abstract comprehension. Means it is called nirvikalpta. Nirvikalpta means primary abstract comprehension, means I'm experiencing my soul without the help of any senses. Directly I'm experiencing the soul. How can it be possible? If I don't have eyes, I don't have ears, I don't have nose, I don't have tongue, I don't have skin, how can I perceive an object?
Kirit,
yeah.
जरा ગુજરાતીમાં બોલો ને વિકલ્પ.
તો પ્રમાણ, નય અને નિક્ષેપ એ ત્રણ સાધનો દ્વારા આચાર્ય ભગવાન કહે છે કે તું તારા ત્રિકાળી શુદ્ધ આત્માની અનુભૂતિ કરીશ જે નિર્વિકલ્પ અનુભૂતિ છે. એટલે પ્રમાણ, નય, નિક્ષેપ એ તારી વિકલ્પાત્મક દશા છે. વિકલ્પાત્મક દશા એટલે કે ઇન્દ્રિયજન્ય જ્ઞાન છે અને તારે જવાનું છે અતિન્દ્રિય જ્ઞાનમાં જવાનું છે. તો these are the means available to me. Now we have to understand, when the means, that means they are to be discarded to achieve the aim. When I'm climbing the stairs, once I'm on the second story, which is my aim, then those stairs are to be neglected for me. Sure, when I'm on the second step, the first step is not important, but second is important. When I'm on third step, the second is to be ignored. But when I'm completed the whole staircase, then I completely ignore that thing. Their existence is there. Stairs existence is there. But now my aim is eternal soul substance. My aim is achieved, so they become secondary. So compared to eternal self, compared to pure nature, Trikali Suddha Atma Dravya, Praman, Nay, Nikshep are non-entity, means they are non-entity. એટલે કે એની my God, I'm blanking out the Gujarati word out of it. Abhutarth. They are abhuta. એટલે કે they are present in their own way, that is important. But once the aim is achieved or your aim is separate, then they become kind of a secondary in nature. So they become non-true in nature. So I know all this praman, nay, nikshep, they are useless for me. You have to know that one right now. You got to know that one. And once you know, then you are going to the next step, which is a primary abstract comprehension, which is called nirvikalpta, means it's called atman anubhuti, means it's called right faith, also called samyak darshan, enlightenment. When that thing happened, then all these things, they remain outside, and then I'm just experiencing myself. So this is what he's putting the base for us, that listen, I'm going to give you pathway, praman, nay, nikshep, and that's what is going to help you out to understand what to do next. So now again, first Acharya Bhagavan described the 9 elements. Now tattva he described. Remember, now tattva, 9 elements, they are present within me. I am the soul and they are present within me. Even though I said that these are jeev, ajeev, pap punya, asraban, samvar, nijra, moksha. All those 9 elements are there, but they are within me. So ajeev tattva, non-living element. This is non-living. This is a book. It's a pudgal. It's a matter. This is non-living. This body is non-living. Short is not. But here, 9 elements means we have to make sure that they are considered from the soul's perspective only. This non-living means matter. That means this is not soul. That's not we are talking. So what says? Just like any modification of the soul, soul is having tons and tons of modification. Every moment there is one modification. So that modification occurring in a soul, that is called soul element or called Jeev Tattva. Modification occurring in a soul એટલે કે આત્માની પર્યાયને જીવ તત્વ કહ્યું. The living element means the mode, means modification, means changes occurring in the soul. That is your first element as a living. Then second one, modification occurring in me, but they are regarding non-living substances. Let's presume that I as a soul think about what is my book doing, but I can't find my book. Where is my book? And or where is my car? My car had an accident. Now, yes.
If there's no objection, I think we might be familiar with the 9 tattvas. Do you think we can push on with the Kalash?
Yeah. And only the thing that because of some couple of new people are there, so at least I don't want to have them get lost in the further discussion. So we'll just quickly pass through it. So modification of the soul is a considered soul. Modification regarding the non-living substance is called non-living. Auspicious, inauspicious inclinations occurring in the soul, that's called pap and punya tattva. Soul's inclination of attachment or ragdvesh are influence bondage. Then beginning of purity is called stoppage element. Increasing purity is called shading element. Complete purity is called liberation. So these are called 9 elements and they are occurring in the soul substance only. So these are modal aspect. They are modification aspect. And Acharya Bhagwan says, remember, when I'm talking to you about looking for eternal soul substance, then this modification, even though they are present within me, they become secondary, and that means it's non-true. So all these 9 elements are also considered as non-true. Then, furthermore, he says that one has to go beyond these 9 elements and try to find out hidden eternal soul substance in indivisible state. So whole aim is not only to know 9 elements, but after knowing 9 elements, one has to go and extract out the eternal soul substance hidden within those 9 elements. Just like in the rock, the gold particles are present. Similarly, here, I have to extract the gold particle same way from these 9 elements. I have to extract eternal soul substance. So, Tattvat Sutra, Adhyay 1, Sutra 4, it says, Jeev, Ajeev, Asrav, Bandh, Samar, Nija, Mokshas Tattvam. Now, it's a simple thing, simple sentence, but it's an extreme, deep meaning in this sentence is there. What it says, Tattva Sutra, Umaswati ji, 2000 years back, wrote down that Jeev, Ajeev, Asrav, Bandh, Samvar, Nijara, Moksha. So these are the elements, these are the tattva present in a given soul. But at the end, he uses word tattvam. Tattvam means it's a singular. Singular means all these 9 elements that we are talking about, that there is a singularity within all those things. So this last word tattvam carries a very heavy weight, because it just says that not only you know the 9 elements, but there is a hidden element within those 9 elements is a indivisibility of an eternal soul substance, and that's what it says. So, if even last one word, usually it should be plural. Tattvam, it should be tattvam. Instead of that, it's a tattvam. So it's a singular rather than plural word. Plural word means all these 9 elements. Singular word means these 9 elements are to be considered as one, and that means there's a hidden behind, there is one indivisible eternal soul substance, and to know that one, that is called Samyak Darshan. So this is the same thing as over here, third bullet. In 9 elements, only wholesome thing, but the real thing, what is most important is an eternal true nature of the self. That's what I should try to look for it. So that's why it says that it's average person will say, okay, having faith on these 9 elements, that means I have a samyak darshan. That's not true. Here it says last one word alone, singular word, and that means it says the eternal soul substance hidden behind those 9 elements is the one to have the faith, and that's called samyak darshan. Now, so comprehensive knowledge, now coming to the point that Acharya Bhagavan says comprehensive knowledge, partial point of view, and knowledge about the object, Praman, Nay, and Nikshep are the means to obtain eternal true nature of the self. So these are the, now he says, I'm going to show you some pathway, and so this will become easier for you to understand, so it doesn't become abstract for you. So he says, I'm going to talk about comprehensive knowledge, partial point of view, and object of knowledge of object. Means to know a soul substance completely from all the angle, from substantial point of view and from modal point of view, completely to know a substance, that's called comprehensive knowledge. Then partial point of view means out of which what is most important. Eternal soul substance is over here, complete, out of which what is the most important thing that I would like to have it. I would like to go and let's say that a thief wants to do the robbery on a house. So first he studies the house completely. Where are the bedrooms? Where are the stairs? Where are the garage? And where is the locker and all those? He studies them completely. That's comprehensive knowledge. Then partial point of view means he really now narrows down his aim, how to go to that underground vault. So he now concentrate on that one only. So that's called partial point of view. And knowledge about the object, exactly how is that underground vault looks like, how can I break it, what are the combination number, and all those things to know, that's the knowledge of the object. So those are the, similarly, soul is having comprehensive knowledge about soul means eternal soul substance, and their infinite attributes, and there are modal perspectives there, action occurs in the mode, and all those things I know, that's comprehensive knowledge, out of which now I need to know what is the eternal soul substance, which is the most important for me, and now that becomes my object of knowledge, and I know it, how to achieve that one. So these are the 3 things we are going to use it. Now, of course, 9 elements are in modes. Similarly, we just said that this is a modal from 9 elements. Similarly, this Praman, Nay, Nikshep are also in the reflective thought process. They are not, they are mainly in this Kalash. Acharya Bhagavan wants us to understand that I am talking comprehensive knowledge, partial point of view, and knowledge about object. I'm talking from reflective thought process only. So keep that one in mind. That's what he's telling us. Now, because it's a reflective thought process, and soul, nature of the soul is beyond reflective thought process, so eternal self, in the eternal self, the division of Praman, Nay, Nikshep are not present. Eternal self is primary abstract comprehension. Eternal self is a nirvikalp dasha, vikalp rahitni dasha. And a Praman, Nay, Nikshep, right now in this stanza, they are in the vikalp dasha nivachya, you know. So they are on the reflective thought process perspective. Now, when we are knowing that one, so comprehensive knowledge, we have done this, quickly we'll go through it. Present in reflective thought means savikalp praman, and present in primary abstract comprehension means nirvikalp praman. So comprehensive knowledge can be in these 2 forms. Partial point of view can be in the influence of attachment state, and it can be without influence of attachment state. So both the things can be in a reflective thought process or influence of attachment state, or they both could be in the primary abstract comprehension. Both can be that way. So now Acharya Bhagavan said that I'm going to talk from this perspective, comprehensive knowledge and partial point of view from reflective thought process perspective in this Kalash. That's what he put the asterisk to us, to that don't get bogged down and say this can also happen. So what about this one? So he says, I'm talking only this one because that's where we are. I am, I don't have the primary abstract comprehension, means I don't have experiencing of the soul substance. So I am at this point. So for me, what is the steps? That's what he's suggesting, that we should just look for these kind of things. Okay, having said that, comprehensive knowledge, we have gone through this one before. It's called direct knowledge or indirect knowledge, and direct knowledge can be direct knowledge in conventional sense and transcendental knowledge. Transcendental knowledge can be perfect perception, which is a omniscience knowledge, or partial perception, which is called clairvoyance knowledge, or it's called telepathy knowledge. So we know that for Paramathik Pratyaks. Now, Paroksh Jnan, we talked a lot about this in the past before. So that indirect knowledge is divided into memory, recognition, logic, inference, and scripture. And so because I have an indirect knowledge right now, I am at a stage in which I don't have direct experiencing of the self. My faith attributes is directed to the alien objects of the universe. That means I have an indirect knowledge, and my indirect knowledge goes through this kind of a process, and it comes up to inference, means I, from indirectly, I make an inference. For example, that wherever there is inclination of attachment and aversion seen, wherever rag and dvesh are seen, that means soul has to be there. The conventional example in the inference we just said, that there was a smoke on the mountain hill. On the hill, there was a smoke seen, and I have seen the smoke in my kitchen before, and when the smoke was there, that means fire was there. That means over here, when I'm seeing smoke on the hill, that means there is a presence of fire. That is my inference. I have not seen fire directly, but I'm making inferential knowledge. Similarly, wherever there is rag and dvesh occurs in a living entity. And that living entity means there is a soul operating behind that living entity. That means I'm making inference that if I have a rag and dvesh right now, means I can be, I am the eternal soul substance. That's what I make the indirect inferential knowledge. Once I have that conviction occurs, then I try to go within and try to experience a soul substance. That will be called direct knowledge. And so direct knowledge is called experiencing of the soul, and that is called Samyak Darshan and Samyak Gyan, right knowledge and right faith. That means I'm on the right on the right path, which ultimately will lead me to liberation. Up until now, I am here since time infinite, and I have taken human birth infinite times, but I did not understand that kind of thing. And I came up to inferential knowledge, that means indirect knowledge, and I thought that I knew everything, and I did not go beyond to get a direct knowledge, and that's a fault that I have it. And Acharya Bhagavan says, Gurudev Sri Kanji Swami says that, now you push very hard, you go on your right track, you try your personal effort, and you can go beyond your inferential knowledge and also the scriptural knowledge, and you can go further ahead to experience yourself. That is possible. That's what he says to us. So now here partial point of view. That's our this one was our the comprehensive knowledge, which we had talked a great detail in the past. That's why we did not spend much time. Partial point of view is of two types described over here: substantial point of view and modal point of view. Dravyarthik nahi, paryayarthik nahi. Now, question occurs to us that in 11th stanza, we talked about absolute point of view and conventional point of view and literal point of view and all those things that we learned that one. And now we are putting something new over here. Why this is something new over here? Because Acharya Bhagwan says that Nai, means partial point of view, are infinite in numbers. From different perspective, when you look, different partial points of views can be described. But for our understanding, they have been grouped into 2 or 3 major groups. And so we already know that absolute point of view and on a conventional point of view, that is called spiritual partial point of view, means adhyatma na nai. They are called adhyatma nai, means they are called partial point of view related to the soul substance only. When we talk substantial point of view and modal point of view, means I am using 6 substances of the universe and I'm making comparison with them. Out of 6 substances of the universe, I have a close association with the karma and matter particle, and so they are called substantial point of view and modal point of view. And so over here, 9 reals when we are talking, 9 elements we are talking, we are using the association of the karma also. So while we are using the association of karma, then when we are talking partial point of view, then we are going to talk from this substantial point of view and modal point of view perspective. Substantial point of view takes care of the substance only, eternal soul substance. Modal point of view just deals with only the mode present within me. So those are 2 things. So when one gets engrossed in his eternal self, then it's called Shiva Marg, means path to the salvation. When one cannot remain engrossed in the self and is instability, then it's known as auspicious inauspicious inclination, and that is called Jagpanth, means worldly path. Gurudev Sri just inserted this little fact over here because what he says that remember our right now our aim, our short-term aim is to experience a soul substance. That's our short-term aim. And of course, long-term aim is to get the liberation and get the complete liberation and to stay in that Siddha Dasha forever. Short-term gain is to get the experiencing of the soul. So when I get experiencing of the soul and then I get engrossed in that eternal self, that's called path to salvation. My experiencing state is called path to salvation. But when I'm the aspirant soul, when I first experience my soul and now I progress further, that means I'm called aspirant soul, or it's called sadhak atma. This aspirant soul is not able to stay within his eternal nature forever. He is trying, he's still an aspirant soul, so he still has a lots of karma associated, and karma fruition tries to pull him out. And so he has a weakness. So his weakness brings him out from his eternal soul substance experiencing phase. So when he is going to the deluding state right now, that's called his instability. And in that instability state, he has an auspicious, inauspicious inclination, papa, punya bhav. He has a shubh, ashubh bhav. That is called jagpanth. In the sense, when Bharat Chakravarti, he is a Kshaik Samyak Darshan. But when he's not remaining in his experiencing phase, and when he's outside of his experiencing phase, at that time he could be having the war going on, he could be in the war field, or it could be, he could be staying with his 96,000 wives and everything. At that time he is in inauspicious inclination state, and that means he is binding karma. However, small amount of karma, but still that's a bondage to him. When the monk on a sixth and seventh spiritual state, when he is engrossed in his natural state, that's a seventh spiritual state, and when he comes out, then it's called sixth spiritual state, and in that state he may have kind of a reflective thought of maybe go for alm and get some food and quiet his hunger, because that hunger was not allowing him to remain engrossed in the eternal self. So he may do the process of accepting food, etc. Or he may come out from his meditative state and say, I have my disciples waiting and I will talk to them, I will give lectures to them, I'll discuss scriptural details to them, etc. are also called auspicious inclination. And at that time also he is binding karma. However small it is, he's binding karma. And that's why it's called worldly path, because the binding karma will take you to transmigration. When you are in the Shiv mark, when your path to salvation, means your transmigration comes to an end at that time. So even though one gets Samyak Darshan, or one is monk, he still has a karma bondage going on, however small, but still they have it. So that's what he wants to try. Our Gurudev wants to make sure that we understand that this thing does happen. Karma bondage still occurs. Now, if we look at that same enlightened person, the same person who is on a fourth spiritual state, yes, he is binding karma, but that bondage of karma is so minimal, so minuscule, that it is as good as saying that he does not bind the karma. So that kind of attitude one has to have it. But when you're on the spiritual path, then on the path there are little downfalls they come, little inconveniences come, and as a result one ends up binding some karma, but they are so minuscule that it's been said that that person has no karma bondage from spiritual aspect. And so it also been, when you read the scripture, it will say that Samyak Drashti Jeev, one with the right faith, is not binding any karma. In fact, he is binding, but it's very small, so it has been neglected that way. Now, there is one more thing Gurudev throws out, that when he was in a monk state, when he was in a Sthanakvasi Sampradaya, when he was monk, then there was a saying going on in Sthanakvasi side, that one who visits idol with devotion, means one who goes for darshan, that means he is in a mithyatva state. One who goes for darshan to the temple, that means he's in mithyatva state, because Samyak Drashti never does darshan. Samyak Drashti does not have to do darshan. That kind of erroneous belief was going on, and at that time Gurudev says that is wrong, because what he explained, comprehensive knowledge, partial point of view, they both occur in the right faith person. Me, I don't have that comprehensive knowledge and partial point of view in a complete pure state right now. But if I get a right faith, then those are purer form with me. Therefore, when a right faith person does darshan, then it's actually a true darshan. Actually, that's called true darshan. Over here, they say that he does not have to do, if he's doing darshan, it's called wrong faith. But actually, right faith person is doing darshan, it's called actual true darshan, because he has a right faith, because he has a right spiritual knowledge, because his scriptural knowledge, Shrutagnan, is a pure now. Because he is Shrutagnan being pure, and partial point of view is coming from Shrutagnan. So, in right faith person, the unity of triple gem means Bhavshuddh is there. Bhavshuddh means the Shrutagnan is right now purer form. Scriptural knowledge is purified right now. So, partial point of view is only in Bhavshuddh. And when this partial point of view occurs, then there is comprehensive knowledge. That means whenever he is doing a darshan, that is called true darshan. So even at the age of 24, 23, Gurudev did not, at that time, he did not have Samaysar on his hand. He did not get Pravachan Niyamsar or Moksha Prakashak, etc. But that was knowledge coming from within, because he had heard those kind of discourses from Simanda Swami in the past life in Mahavida Kshetra. Now we are talking partial point of view, means spiritual knowledge in a modal form with unity of triple gem is known as Bhavshuddh. Scriptural knowledge means a Sutagnan. In the mode, and with there is the unity of triple gem, that means experiencing has occurred to the living being, then is called Bhavshuddh. This Bhavshuddh is called whole thing, means avayavi, means avayavi means I am the whole person right now, so I am avayavi, I am the whole right now. And partial point of view is this component, my hand, my leg, my hand, my eyes, my chest, my legs, they are called avayav, they are called organs. So I am the whole person, and I have the component as a hand, legs, chest, eyes, ears, etc. So the whole thing is called avayavi, and partial means the comprehensive knowledge is called avayavi, and partial point of view is its component. So comprehensive knowledge means, for example, I am such and such. I'm somebody's father, somebody's son, somebody's grandfather, somebody's grandson, somebody's nephew, somebody's uncle, etc., etc., etc. This is my job. I'm doing this job. I live over here. This is a temple I go to, and all kind of facts about me makes a comprehensive knowledge about me. So that is called whole thing. It's called comprehensive knowledge. Now I take partial point of view, talking about Wednesday or Tuesday evening, that I am talking about Swadhay. So I'm in the Swadhay at the time. When I was working and I have gone to work, okay, I'm a physician at the time. When I'm with my father, then I'm the son. When I'm with my son, I'm acting as father. So at that time, partial point of views, those are the partial point of view out of my whole scenario, that who I am. Now, here in our description, partial point of view is considered as a reflective thought process. Here, in the sense, Acharya Bhagavan keeps on telling several places. He says, don't get misunderstood about what I'm talking. For this particular Kalash only, I'm saying that partial point of view that I'm going to describe is in the reflective thought process, means it's a vikalpnan, it is associated with increase of attachment, means whenever there's reflective thought process, it is always associated with increase of attachment, means it is associated with the rag. વિકલ્પાત્મક જ્ઞાનમાં નયની વાત થાય છે ત્યારે એ વિકલ્પાત્મક જ્ઞાનના થતા નયને લીધે તને રાગ થાય છે. So that is associated with the increase of attachment. considering experiencing phase. Now, remember, this is a reflective thought process. This reflective thought process is occurring in my thought process associated with the inclination of attachment. Now, when I'm comparing myself, when I'm comparing this fourth bullet with the fifth one, considering experiencing phase of the soul, that means I am beyond my reflective thoughts. That means I'm in the experiencing phase. That means I'm primary abstract comprehension. That means I'm in nirvikalpta. At that time, this partial point of view in the reflective thought process is considered to be an untrue state. When I'm already reached the second story, then those stairs are useless for me for that time being. They are true state. But now, when I achieved my aim of going to second story, then those staircase has no value for me. Even though it is present, but it is considered secondary and thereby untrue. Partial point of view which knows the eternal self is called substance. Now he defines how do I define a substantial point of view. The partial point of view which knows eternal soul substance only. My aim is directed to eternal soul substance only. Then it is called substantial point of view or dravyarthik. Or my partial point of view which knows only modal state. Remember, fact is complete over here. That's a comprehensive knowledge out of which I'm directing my attention to eternal soul substance, substantial point of view. I'm directing my attention to the modal point of view. That means it's called modal, the paryayarthik or modal point of view. Having said that, now we are going to nikshep. What is nikshep? Nikshep is a new subject that we have it, and hopefully I would like to finish in this class. So what time it is right now? I want to make sure the time is not running away. Okay, we still have a half an hour. Okay, we can make it. Yeah, okay. Slideshow from the current slide. Okay. So nikshep means what? Object of knowledge. Okay. Object. So nikshep means analysis of the truth of object of knowledge, means gnay, knowing the gnay. I am the gnan, and gnan is knowing an object, means that object is called gnay. This is a book, this is object, and I am knowing this book. So I am knower, and this is object of knowledge. I am the gnan, and this is called gnay. Gnan, I am the one. Gnay, I know it. So knowable object is called gnay. Or nikshep is also called installation or attribution or imposition, study of the words to see their implication, etc., etc. Names are there for nikshep. Now, mainly nikshep means object of knowledge. According to the comprehensive knowledge and partial point of view, remember comprehensive knowledge we talk, partial point of view we talk, the worldly dealing of the customary thing is known as nikshep. When I have comprehensive knowledge, I have partial point of view, I have a samyak darshan right now, I'm still having worldly dealing going on, and that worldly dealing is called nikshep. Praman ane naina anusare, પ્રમાણ અને નયના અનુસારે પ્રચલિત લોક વ્યવહારને નિક્ષેપ કહે છે. પ્રમાણ અને નયના અનુસારે પ્રચલિત લોક વ્યવહારને નિક્ષેપ કહે છે. Means, with my comprehensive knowledge and partial point of view, I end up knowing this book. So that's called, that knowledge of the object is called nikshep. Object of knowledge is in indivisible form. This says I'm complete right now. To know it from divisional aspect is known as nikshep. Now, This one says, I'm complete, but when I'm knowing it, I'm knowing with my divisional aspect. For example, there's a mango over here. Ripe mango is there. Now, that mango says, listen, I'm complete, I'm perfect, I'm ripe right now. So, my eye is looking at the color only. My eye looked at the yellow color. My smell said there's a sweet smell coming. My touch said it's soft to touch. And when I taste that mango, it is sweet to taste. So whole mango is over here, and now one at a time, my senses, they collected the knowledge in the divisional aspect, and that is called nikshep. Knowledge of an object, it's called nikshep. So what's a Gujarati? Jnei padarth akhand che. છતાંય તેને જાણતા જ્ઞેય પદાર્થને જે ભેદ કરવામાં આવે છે તેને નિક્ષેપ કહે છે. My understanding about an object, that's called nikshep, or knowledge of the object. Now, those knowledge of object, they are 4 different types. They are name, they are by name, they are by installation, they are by substance, and they are by present state. And we'll discuss one at a time. So this one, we will try to look at it, what it says. Installation by name. Naam nikshep. For example, somebody has a name Ram. When somebody is named Ram, he may not have characteristics of Ram, but just to know him from the other person, I just gave name, and so I know him by name only, name installation perspective. So to differentiate one human being from the other, the name is given, like Jindat. Jindat may not have quality to be a Jina's son. Jindat means son of an omniscient Lord. He may not have that quality, but worldly affair gets going with this name nikshep only. This naam nikshep, then my worldly affair keeps on going. It's called table and not matter. So this way one can differentiate from different forms of matter from this table. So this is table and not a chair. So so that's called naam nikshep. So that is the name given. There may not be any characteristics about it. Simple name is there. Installation by representation means sthapna nikshep. To establish one thing in the other thing. For example, Lord Mahavir Swami is established in an idol in a sthapna nikshep. I go to the temple and there is a marble statue, and I just said, Lord Mahavir Swami, I'm worshipping you. I'm going to do your puja and everything. You are my Lord and everything. Wait. To the third person, it's simply a piece of marble. Me, I have established Mahavir Swami in this marble statue. So that's called sthapna nikshep, or installation by representation. Third thing called installation by substance means dravya nikshep. What happens over here? I know a given entity with its own substantial nature. For example, let's say that the substance has a past and present and future modes. What it says over here, one establishes past or future thing in a present thing. For example, one has eligibility to obtain liberation and thereby to tell at present time that he has liberation. That's called dravya nikshep. So once Once somebody obtains right faith, that means to tell him that he is a liberated soul. He will be liberated in future, but I'm just telling him he'll be liberated. So that is future nikshep, installation by substance in by future perspective. For example, the Srainik Maharaja, right now he's in the first hell, and to tell him as a Tirthankar, which he's going to be occurring after 84,000 years after. But just to call Sainik Raja as Tirthankar because he's going to be Tirthankar in the future. So it's called Dravya Nikshep. Arihant, that, for example, Mahavir Swami, to tell Mahavir Swami as an omniscient Lord right now. Well, Mahavir Swami is a liberated soul. Mahavir Swami is not Arihant right now. He used to be Arihant in the past. 2500 years back, he went for liberation. He is in a moksha right now. He is in the Siddhasila. But still to tell him as a Mahavir Swami, as a omniscient Lord, that is called installation by substance, means Dravya Nikshep, considering his past. So to establish Mahavir Swami as Arihant at present entity is from Dravya Nikshep, as he was in the past, now he is Siddha. One establishes him in the present time. So those are the examples that we call from the installation by substance. And then comes last one, which is called installation by present mode. To establish present mode as the present mode form only. That's called Bhav Nikshep. Simanda Swami is present, omniscient Lord, and so he is to be called omniscient Lord only. You cannot call omniscient Lord as Mahavir Swami because Mahavir Swami is liberated. Right now he is not omniscient Lord. To call king as a king only when he is king. That is called Bhav Nikshep. But king's son, prince of the king, he will be future king. So he also to be called king. That is called Dravya Nikshep. So to consider Mahavir Swami's liberated soul, Siddha soul is a Bhav Nikshep. So these are the four ways I perceive the object, and these are the important things. Now we gave example of the outside things, but what about me inside? For example, just to hear the word soul, so that's called Nam Nikshep. I know the soul by name only. Then establishing that soul, this is my eternal soul substance, that is my true nature, that kind of thinking is called Sthapna Nikshep. Dravya Nikshep means every living being has capacity to be liberated, that person to be called as a liberated soul because he's going to get liberation in the future. ભવી જીવને સિદ્ધ દશા થવાની છે એમ કરીને એને સિદ્ધ સમાન માનવો. That is called Dravya Nikshep. And at present, me as a soul has rag and dvesh, and or I have enlightenment, then it is called Bhav Nikshep, means present state. So these are the four things that we talk. Now, okay, so one second. So for Nam Nikshep and install a Sthapna Nikshep, these two, they bring auspiciousness to a person. They can bring auspiciousness to the person. Dravya Nikshep means I'm experiencing the soul substance. And Bhav Nikshep means I'm going to get liberated. So these are the things that we can understand. So once again, I'll retract. These two, they will give auspicious inclination. This can give us the right faith, and this one will give you ultimately liberation state, So these are the benefits of all these 4 nikshep that we understand.
Kirit uncle?
Yeah.
So, Salva, when we say dravya nikshep, is that also what we're doing when we perceive par dravya? Sometimes in common language we say just be able to see the positive in everyone. Or seeing everyone as Shuddhatma, and that's dravya nikshep.
Because he is not Sudatma right now, but he will be Sudatma in future. That's what I wish all the time to everybody. Why should I not think that, why should I not see him as a Sudatma? So he is Sudatma. It's just on the present state. In the present state, he is just loaded with rag and dve. But ultimately, he's a Sudatma, right? So when I start looking at every other living being as a Sudatma, that means I am having the substantial vision. That means I have experience of my eternal soul substance. That means I'm in the Samyak Darshan state.
1 minute. So Samyak Darshan state ma તમે બધાને ખરેખર સુધાત્મા તરીકે જોઈ શકો એવું છે.
Because remember that Gurudev Sri one time after Daslakshans were over, and then he's asking for Kshamapna, and in Kshamapna he said that if I have seen anybody in a modal aspect, then I'm sincerely asking for forgiveness, because everybody I have seen is in eternal soul's perspective only. So that's a sign of a Samyak Drishti Jeev.
But actually, you can only do that when you have Kevala Gnan, right?
No, because I'm perceiving everybody as an eternal soul substance. For example, Gurudev is passing from his building. That is a building that you see in the back, for example, that picture. And then he goes for taking food in the next building. And by going that next building, he's passing through a couple of neem trees. And sometimes those leaves are on the ground. And when one kid was walking with Gurudev, and his foot went on a neem leaf, and Gurudev said, listen, there are lots of living beings in that leaf also, and who knows, maybe my past or future parents are also there. So we should respect every living being as an eternal soul substance. So yes, Samyak Darshan, when you will perceive everybody as an eternal soul substance. Right?
Barabar.
Okay. All right. So we can just go next one. Now, in Kalash 8, now Acharya Bhagwan, Amrit Chandra Acharya Dev and Gurudev also gave 3 main points to consider, basically. 3 main. First thing, Amrit Chandra Acharya Dev said, on the reflective thought process, I'm going to have you act with the Praman, Nay and Nikshep. You start acting with a comprehensive knowledge, partial point of view, and knowledge about the object. So you start with that one. So what happens? In the reflective thought process, in the Vikalp Dasha, in the wrong fate state, that means my state, there is need for comprehensive knowledge, partial point of view, and knowledge about the object, and that is the one very initial initial things I will need. Once one obtains right faith, now with all the help, with this Praman Nay Nikshep, when with the reflective thought process, I made the determination of the soul substance. This is the soul substance. This is its real nature. In the reflective thought process, I made the decision, and then I started meditating on that state, and now I have absolute knowledge about the reality. I obtained that one of course, they're still I'm in the wrong fate state, and still this is on a reflective thought process state. Now, once I have done that, now I bring my attention to my eternal soul substance only, and now my reflective thought process also starts quieting down. My contemplation is going on, but that contemplation things are also quieting down. And one fine morning that I may go into the primary abstract comprehensive state, that means nirvikal dasha. That's called right faith. Once obtains right faith, primary abstract comprehension, then there is no need for comprehensive knowledge, partial point of view, and knowledge about object. So praman nahi nikshep, which used to occur in reflective thought process, now I have experiencing, so I don't need those kind of things at the time. So first step to go from wrong faith to right faith, also I have to discard this praman nahi nikshep. Then second stage comes. Second stage, once one has obtained right faith, now I'm in the right faith state. Now, with this comprehensive knowledge, partial point of view, and with the knowledge of the object, now they become sharper. Remember, in the first stage, in the previous slide, I was in the wrong faith state. Now I'm in the right faith state, but I'm not in the experiencing phase. So when I'm outside the experiencing phase, means I have reflective thought, and my reflective thought process has become very, very sharp right now. With that sharpness of those things, now I start cutting down my inclination of attachment and aversion. I cut down my rag and dvesh. And when I'm cutting down them, that means ultimately I end up getting perfect conduct. That's a 12th spiritual development state. Kshin mo means my perfect conduct is occurring, and pretty soon within Antarmurat, within no time, I end up getting omniscience knowledge. So in that omniscience knowledge also, I don't need praman nahi nikshep. To start with, in the mithyatva, yes, I want to have it just to get the proper knowledge about the reality and everything. That is important. Then in the second state, I did get the experiencing, but after coming out of the experiencing phase, I still use those praman nahi nikshep to sharpen my knowledge and everything, so that I cut down my rag and dvesh. Ultimately, I obtain toxic emotion-less state, means without any rag and dvesh. I enter into the 13th spiritual state, and that time is called omniscient knowledge. And again, I don't need to have any comprehensive knowledge, partial point of view, and object of knowledge. So, third thing, it says ultimately soul end up going for liberation, Siddha Dasha. And here also there is no need for comprehensive knowledge, partial point of view, and object of knowledge. So this one that Amritchandra Acharya Dev puts this one in conclusion, that he says that these things are important for us, but again we just have to start discarding them as we keep progressing further. So this is the end for our Kalash number 8, and then next time we'll start with Kalash number 9. So basically, if we just put in short, the whole Kalash says that when these 9 elements are occurring in reflective thought process, same thing, praman nahi nikshep also occurs in reflective thought process, and properly utilizing that knowledge, channelizing that knowledge in a right direction, then it just takes us through the maze of this spirituality maze, and we continue going in the right direction to achieve the liberation. So those are the things that we have to know. Sometimes it appears to be very abstract and everything, but again, if we don't do this, then it's not going to work for us, because there are so many pitfalls are there, so many paths that I can fall down, so many paths I can be going in the wrong direction. And to avoid those kind of things, Acharya Bhagwan gives so many instruments in front of us, so many weapons to us, so that we start going in the right path and not to get entangled in a wrong path and wrong message, etc. So those should be our thing. So knowing the reality, knowing myself, who I am, what is my real nature, once I know that part, then I can start going that way. On the freeway, when it says wrong way, wrong way, wrong way, even in my dream, I will not go on that wrong way on the ramp, because I know that I'll get hit on accident, I'll die. So that knowledge is so important. Same way here. I want to also remain with it. I have to understand my pitfalls. Where are those things coming, and how can I just come out through this maze in a proper fashion? Any question? Okay. Yes, any questions? No. Okay. So we'll just start closing. Okay. Aho upakara jinavarano kundano dvani divyano jina kunda dvani apya aho te guru kanano jina kunda dvani apya aho bhagavati matano Javani ke jnana se suje lokalo Sovani mastaka namo sada deta hu. 9 times Namo commentary. Jai Michami Dukuram. Thank you.
Ichhami Dukkadam.